Take this in. You made it to this moment, and that means something. It means that no matter how hard it's been, no matter how many times you wanted to quit, you didn't. You're still here, still standing, still growing. That's strength, not the kind that shouts, not the kind that seeks attention, but the quiet, real kind. The kind that shows up when no one's watching. Let's be honest. Life will always have hard days. That doesn't mean you're not built to handle them. You were never meant to be unbreakable. You were meant to feel, to grow, to bend, not break, to fall and rise. Again and again, and every time you rise a little stronger, a little wiser, a little more aware of just how far you've come. So what now? You keep going, not with pressure, not with fear, but with quiet confidence that your life still has so much ahead. There will be joy again. There will be love again. There will be clarity and peace and moments where you look around and think, I made it. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer running from yourself. You're finally walking beside yourself. That's power. And when the next hard moment comes, because it will, I hope you remember this. You've done hard things before. You've survived storms. You've faced pain and still chose to grow. You don't need to fear the future, because you've already proven you can get through anything life throws at you. So tonight, whenever you find yourself listening to this, I want you to feel one thing, pride, proud of who you are, proud of how far you've come, proud of the fact that you didn't give up on yourself even when it would have been easier. You deserve that pride. You deserve rest. You deserve peace. And most of all, you deserve to feel strong because you are. So when your mind starts to doubt, when fear creeps in, when you feel small or uncertain, I hope these words echo back to you. You are stronger than you think. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are becoming. And the best of you, it's still ahead. Asterisk, if this helped you, share it with someone else who might need it. And remember to subscribe for more like this. You're not in this alone. Let me ask you something real. When was the last time you truly gave yourself credit? Not for winning, not for achieving something big, but just for surviving, for getting through another day. Most of us are so focused on what we haven't done, yet that we forget to celebrate what we've already overcome. But take a second right now. Look back. Not with shame, but with honesty. You've made it through storms that should have broken you. You've been through disappointments that felt like the end. You've had moments where you wanted to give up, but you didn't. You kept going. You got back up. You adapted. You held on. That's not small. That's not average. That's powerful. You might not be where you want to be yet, but you are no longer where you used to be, and that progress, it matters. You've grown. Maybe not loudly, maybe not publicly, but inwardly, where it counts. You're more aware now. You set boundaries you never used to. You say no to things that drain you. You're slowly starting to care more about your peace than people's approval. And that is transformation. You are not the same person you were last year or even last month. You're evolving whether you realize it or not. So don't let your doubt drown out your truth. Don't let your fear speak louder than your faith. You've come too far to start doubting yourself now. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up. Some days will feel light, others will feel heavy. That's normal. Healing isn't a straight road, it's a winding one. And growth? It's not always about climbing higher. Sometimes it's just learning how to sit with yourself in silence and be okay with who you're becoming. You don't need to rush. You don't need to chase everything. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to pause, breathe, and trust that you're not falling behind. You're aligning, you're preparing, you're learning, you're clearing space for the life you truly want. There's something waiting for you just beyond this season, and no, I can't promise what it'll look like, but I can tell you this: if you keep going, if you keep growing, if you keep choosing yourself, even on the days you feel unworthy, you'll look back and thank yourself for not giving up. You are building a foundation right now. It's not always obvious. It's not always exciting, but it's real. And one day soon, that foundation will become your peace, your purpose, your power. So hold on, you're almost there. Let's talk about something real, the pain you carry quietly, not the kind people see. but the kind you've learned to live with. The kind that still lingers, even when you smile. It's the kind that sneaks up on you in the silence. At night, in the shower, while you're driving. Those quiet moments when no one's watching, and suddenly it all hits you. You're not weak because you still feel it. You're not broken because some wounds haven't healed yet. Some pain takes time. That's okay. You've been through things that changed you. Things you didn't ask for. Things you didn't deserve. But you're still here. And that counts. For something, every scar you carry, emotional or otherwise, tells a story. And it's not a story of weakness. It's a story of survival. A story of someone who didn't quit. It's a story of someone who's learning to love themselves again, piece by piece. There's strength in that, in showing up even when it's hard, in choosing healing even when it's slow, in rebuilding your life even when it hurts. That's what real strength looks like. So no, you're not weak for feeling tired. You're not less than for not being over it yet. You are allowed to carry sadness and hope in the same breath. You are allowed to grieve and still move forward. You are allowed to feel pain and still believe in better days. That's not a contradiction. That's growth. You don't have to pretend you're fearless. You just have to take small steps in spite of fear. You don't have to act like you've moved on from everything. You just have to keep moving forward with honesty. You don't have to have the perfect words or the perfect mindset. You just have to speak kindly to yourself, especially on the hard days. So right now, be kind to yourself. You've come a long way. Even if no one else sees it, you know it. You know what it is. Took to survive. You know how hard it's been to stay soft in a world that tries to harden you? You know the inner battles you fight every day just to keep going? You deserve credit for that. You deserve peace, and you deserve to stop carrying shame for things that were never your fault. You're not your past. You're not your mistakes. You're not your worst days. You are a living, breathing story still being written. And there's so much more to come. So take a breath. Let this moment be one where you forgive yourself. Where you say, I did the best I could with what I had, and that's enough. 'Cause it is. You're enough. Even on the days when you don't feel like it, you are. Hey, I don't know what you're going through right now. Maybe life feels like too much. Maybe you're tired, not just physically, but emotionally. Tired of pretending you're okay. Tired of being strong for everyone else. Tired of fighting. Silent battles no one knows about. I want you to hear this, not from someone perfect or from a motivational book, but from someone who gets it. You are stronger than you think. And I don't say that to hype you up. Say it because it's true. Look at everything you've been through, and yet you're still here. Still standing, that says something. Even if you don't feel strong, even if you're hurting, even if you're questioning everything, you still haven't quit. And that matters. Maybe no one told you this recently, so let me say it clearly. You've already survived so much: the days you didn't want to get out of bed, the nights you cried silently into your pillow, the moments you doubted your worth, and through it all, you kept going. That is strength. Not the loud kind, not the kind that shows up on social media, but the kind that builds you quietly, moment by moment. You're not weak, you're human, and you're doing the best you can. And believe it or not, that's more than enough. If no one's told you lately, I'm proud of you. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. You keep showing up, keep trying, and that means something. Today, I want you to remember this: the power you're looking for. It's already inside you. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to come back to who you've always been, the version of you that's been fighting. It's growing and healing silently. So breathe. You don't have to figure everything out today. You just have to believe that. You're not done yet, and you're not. You're just getting started. You are stronger than you think. You've been carrying a lot, haven't you? Things you don't always talk about, responsibilities, pain, worries, trying to keep it all together, even when your mind feels like it's falling apart. Sometimes the hardest part isn't what you're going through, it's the fact that you're going through it alone. People might not notice it. They might see your smile and think you're fine. But deep down, there's this weight. A silent heaviness you've learned to hide. And even though you've kept moving, there are moments when you just want to stop and say, I'm tired. I don't know how much more I can take. That's real. You're not weak for feeling that way. You're human. And being human means you'll have moments when life feels overwhelming, when you question yourself, when you second guess. Every decision when it feels like you're running on empty, but life still demands more. But here's something I want you to remember. You've been here before. You faced hard days. You felt lost, uncertain, maybe even broken. And somehow, even if you didn't know how, you got through it. You didn't give up then. You made it through the last storm. And just like before, you will make it through this too. There's this voice in your head that sometimes tells you you're not enough. It's loud on the bad days. It tells you you're behind. You're not doing enough. That everyone else is further ahead. That your life should look different by now. But I want to ask you something. Whose voice is that? Because that voice, that critical, doubting, harsh voice, is not the truth. It's fear. It's comparison. It's past pain whispering lies. The truth is, you've been growing in ways no one sees. You've been healing wounds that no one claps for. You've been holding it down, keeping it together, doing what you can, even when no one was watching. And that is strength. Real strength isn't about always being confident. It's about continuing, even when you're unsure. It's about showing up even when you're scared. It's about getting out of bed when your mind tells you not to. That's the kind of strength you carry. That's the kind of power that lives inside you, even if you don't feel it every day. So today I want you to give yourself some credit, not for being perfect, but for being real, for still trying, still learning, still fighting to become a better version of yourself. You've come too far to quit now. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you are not where you used to be. And that progress, it matters. You know what's crazy? Most people will never understand how hard it is just to hold yourself together sometimes. Not because you're not trying, not because you're weak, but because life gets heavy, and you've been carrying so much for so long that now, even when things are calm, your mind is still bracing for the next wave. That's not your fault. It's the result of surviving chaos, of always being the strong one, of never letting yourself fall apart even when you needed to. But here's what I want to remind you today. You don't have to be strong all the time. Let that sink in. It's okay to admit you're struggling. It's okay to not have it all figured out. It's okay to be tired, because strength isn't about hiding your pain. It's about facing it, sitting with it, learning from it, and growing through it. And I know sometimes you wonder if things will ever truly get better. You wake up with this pressure on your chest. Or maybe you move through your day feeling numb, like you're just going through the motions. If you've ever felt like that, I want you to know something. You're not broken. You're just exhausted. Exhausted from pretending. Exhausted from holding it in. Exhausted from carrying everything on your own. What you need isn't to be fixed. What you need is rest. Time to breathe. Time to feel. Time to process everything you've been. Pushing down just to keep going? You've been operating in survival mode for so long. You've forgotten what peace feels like, but it's still there. Somewhere inside you, under the noise, under the fear, there's still a quiet part of you that's calm, steady, grounded. We just need to reconnect with that part. So take a moment right now. No distractions. Just breathe in through your nose, hold it, and out through your mouth again. You're here. You're safe. You're okay. You don't have to carry it all today. You don't have to pretend today. You can just be. That alone is enough. Most people look at strength as never falling down. But true strength is getting back up, even when you don't know how. It's continuing to show up for your life, even when your heart feels heavy, and that's what you've been doing. Maybe you've been doubting yourself a lot lately, wondering if you're good enough, if you matter, if your life has meaning. And I get that. I really do. But I promise you this, you matter more than you know. Your presence makes a difference. The way you love people, the way you care, the way you keep going, even when it hurts, it all matters. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back at this season of your life. The messy one, the quiet one, the one where you felt lost, and you'll realize this was the season where you became strong. Not loud strength, but quiet, lasting strength, the kind that can't be shaken. Let's be honest. Life doesn't always go the way we planned. You had goals, dreams, a picture in your mind of where you thought you'd be by now, and maybe when you look at your life today, it doesn't match that picture. Maybe you feel like you've fallen behind, like you've wasted time, or made mistakes that you can't fix. But here's something most people won't tell you. You're not behind. You're on your path. Your journey isn't supposed to look like everyone else's. There's no perfect timeline, no finish line you're supposed to have crossed by now. You're still learning, still growing, still becoming who you're meant to be. And you're not late. You're just taking the long way, the real way, the one that teaches you, shapes you, strengthens you. So please stop beating yourself up for not being where you think you should be. Because where you are right now, even if it feels messy, it's enough. You're still in the game. You're still showing up. You're still doing your best with what you have. And that matters. Let me tell you something else. It's okay to outgrow people. It's okay to walk away from things that once felt right, but now feel heavy. It's okay to change your mind, to start again, to begin from scratch. You are allowed to rewrite your story. You are not stuck. Sometimes I think we're trapped because we've been in one place for too long, mentally, emotionally, physically. But change starts the moment you decide to take one small step in a new direction. It doesn't have to be huge, it just has to be real. One tiny choice repeated consistently can change your life. Getting up a little earlier, saying no to what drains you, saying yes to what helps you heal. Letting go of the people who never show up for you, all of it adds up. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You just need to believe that you are allowed to grow. You're not weak for needing rest. You're not broken because you're healing. You're not failing just because it's hard right now. This is your becoming. This is what transformation looks like. Messy, quiet, slow, but powerful. So if no one else tells you today, let me be the one. You're doing better than you think. You are stronger than you know. There's something you should know by now. You're not supposed to have all the answers. We grow up thinking that by a certain age, everything will fall into place. We'll wake up one day and finally feel confident, clear, and ready. But that day doesn't always come the way we expect. Sometimes clarity only comes after confusion. Sometimes strength only shows up after you break down. You're not behind because you're still figuring things out. You're just living life. And life doesn't move in a straight line. You don't need to fake strength anymore. Need to keep acting like you're okay when you're not. It's okay to feel. It's okay to cry. It's okay to admit, I don't know what I'm doing right now, because guess what? None of us do all the time. Most people are just doing the best they can with what they've got. They're smiling in public, but anxious in private. They're posting highlights online, but fighting personal battles behind the screen. So stop comparing your pain to someone else's perfection. Stop assuming they're happier, stronger, more together than you. You don't know what they're carrying. They don't know what you've survived. You being here still fighting, still growing, still trying, that already makes you strong, not perfect. Not invincible, just strong in your own quiet way. And that's more than enough. You don't need a big breakthrough today. You don't need to suddenly feel motivated or inspired or healed. What you need is just one reason to keep going, and sometimes that reason is small. Like, I want to see what happens if I don't give up. Or, I've come too far to go back now. Or even, I don't know what's next, but I'm willing to find out. That's all it takes. One reason, one step. One more day of not quitting, and listen, you don't have to be the strongest person in the room. You don't have to fix everyone else. You don't have to carry everything on your shoulders. You're allowed to take a break. You're allowed to ask for help. You're allowed to be soft, to feel deeply, to rest when you're tired. Being human is not a weakness. It's the very thing that makes you powerful. Because your pain, it gave you depth. Your struggle, it gave you compassion. Your scars, they taught you how to heal. Nothing you've been through is wasted. You're becoming someone the world needs, even if it's taking longer than you expected. So stay with yourself. Don't give up on your growth. Don't give up on your peace. And please, don't give up on your heart. You have no idea what's still possible for you, but you'll find out if you keep walking forward, one step at a time. Let's talk about those days that feel empty. The ones where you're not sad, but you're not really happy either. You're just existing, waking up, going through the motions, doing what you have to do, but feeling disconnected the whole time. And the truth is, that kind of numbness can hurt just as much as pain. Because at least when you're hurting, you feel something. But numbness, it makes you question your purpose. Makes you wonder if anything you do even matters. I want you to know, those days are normal. You're not broken. You're just tired, mentally, emotionally. Spiritually, you've been carrying so much, giving so much, expecting so much from yourself. And sometimes, you just reach a point where your mind and body say, I need a break. I take that. Break not because you're giving up, but because you need space to breathe, to recover, to reconnect. Healing isn't linear. Growth isn't instant. Some days we'll feel strong. Others won't. But every day, even the low ones, are part of the process. So don't judge your entire journey based on one difficult moment. Your story doesn't end here. You're in the middle of a chapter, and the next one might be exactly what you've been waiting for. You've got so much life ahead of you. More than you think. More chances to love. To start over. To find peace. To feel proud of yourself again. But you have to stay here to see it happen. So if today is one of those low days, if your heart feels heavy, or your mind is full of noise, I want you to remind yourself of this. You've survived worse than this. And just like before, you'll rise again. You don't need motivation every day. You don't need to feel strong every minute. You just need a reason to take the next step, even if that step is small. Drinking water.
Taking a walk.
Writing down one thing you're grateful for. Sending a message to someone you trust. Turning off your phone and breathing for 5 minutes. These little things, they may not seem powerful, but they are, because they move you forward. Remind you that you're still trying, still healing, still alive. I hope you give yourself permission to be where you are. You don't need to fake being okay. You don't need to carry shame for being human. You're allowed to take your time. You're allowed to fall apart. You're allowed to not have it all figured out. Because strength isn't found in perfection. It's found in honesty and being. Honest with yourself, that's one of the strongest things you'll ever do.